It's 4 hours Coordinated Universal Time. Swiss Radio International is on the air to North America on 6.135, 9.650, 9.885, and 12.035 megahertz. Stay tuned for Dateline.
Hello and welcome. This is Paul Suffer with comment in current affairs from Switzerland. I'll be back right after the news.
The United States President George Bush has told the exiled Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Jabir al-Ahmed al-Sabah, that the U.S. will not rest until Iraqi forces are driven out of Kuwait. Mr. Bush said after a meeting with the Emir in Washington that they agreed that all options had to be kept open to ensure that the Iraqi occupation was ended and Kuwait's legitimate government was restored. The U.S. National Security Advisor, Brent Scowcroft, said after the meeting that the Emir had spoken of widespread destruction and looting in his country by Iraqi forces. Mr. Scowcroft said the destruction in Kuwait increased the need for an urgent solution to the crisis. Meanwhile, the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council have issued a communique repeating their demand for an Iraqi withdrawal and the release of foreign hostages held by Iraqi forces. The foreign ministers of the 5 nations also said after a meeting in New York with the UN Secretary-General, Javier Pérez de Cuellar, that they would support moves towards a lasting and just peace in the Middle East. Officials said the communique did not mean that the 5 countries were seeking to link a solution to the Palestinian problem to the Gulf crisis.
That was a report by SRI parliamentary correspondent Peter Heller. It brings us around to the end of another Dateline program. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same frequencies. Paul Suffren here. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Swiss Radio International is on the air to North America on 6.135, 9.650, 9.885, and 12.035 megahertz.